hold while we wait for the other.
Facebook fam. Now, what we are going to do today, I'm waiting for the interview, the brother to call me. Oh, that's him right there. Cool. Let me reply. Here you go. Hit me up at 614-556-4535. All right. I just sent it out. He should be calling in. So who I have tonight to speak to y'all is a brother that will be coming to Columbus. To do, I think I put the wrong number down. Let me check. Uber conference info 556. Is that what I put? Yep, I put the right number. All right, cool. Those that want to call in, you can hit me up at 614-556-4535. We'll be joined by a brother by the name of Wakesa Mazimoyo, right? This brother's an educator and a storyteller. He will be doing a workshop in Columbus, Ohio, called Warriors, Builders, and Healers, right? And he's going to be talking about the Amenta, right? He's going to be talking about Harriet Tubman. We're going to have a conversation with this brother, and we're going to chop it up. So as soon as he call in, we're going to jump it off. Now, but until then, I need to let y'all know, right? I am back in the process. Well, I had never been out, but I'm back in the process of making that ambrosia, family. Yo, hey, I got it. Got another, y'all see I've been killing this one. 20 bottles just went out. No, actually 30 bottles just went out. 20 went out. 10 is in waiting. I got some other people waiting around right now. So we're waiting for the caller to call in. As a matter of fact, just give us time. Here we go. How you doing today, sir?
This connection, my brother. So glad to be here.
I'm glad that you're here. So those people who are on Facebook that'll be coming in, I'm going to be plugging the link in a second so that y'all could tune in live and listen to the show live. Now, I would love to do it on Facebook Live, but I can't plug y'all in so that y'all can hear him clearly. I had a problem with my last interview, and I want to make sure I give y'all quality. We're going to have a quality conversation tonight because I went through the brother's material and I see that I have a brother in arms. I have a nation builder on the line. And what makes it even better is that he's not necessarily in Columbus. And the reason I'm happy about that is because I love when I run into nation builders. I run into spirit warriors that I'm connected to, because this brother, he's going to make a lot of sense to y'all that's been listening to Gye-Nyame Journey. Why? Because he talks about the power of stories. He's a storyteller and an educator. Sound like Brother Hatim, right? So I was in love because the very first video I pulled up, he made a statement, and I'm going to say that statement for a minute, but he made a statement that touched my heart, right? And it was about storytelling, about the story. And we're going to get into that. We're going to get into what he's going to do when he come to Columbus. But before we get into that, what I want to do right now is I'm about to take a sip of this ambrosia. For those that don't know, that ambrosia is a kombucha, a green tea and raw honey kombucha that Brother Hatim makes, right? Now, what does that do? That helps heal you, right? It's a health drink for you. And like I said, y'all know that if you support the journey supports you. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take a sip of this ambrosia, and we're going to jump right into this interview. Hold on. All right. Brother Wakesa, am I saying it right? Wakesa. Brother Wakesa.
Yeah, right. It's short E's are like short E's and egg F. Wakesa.
All right. So now, those people that want to join the conversation after I get done interviewing him, you can hit us up at 614-556-4535. I would love it if you call, but if you don't, we're going to have a good conversation anyway. All right, so here we go. So, brother, can you tell us a little bit about, well, first, what I know about him is that the brother is an educator and a storyteller out of Atlanta, and he helped started an institute called Aya Educational Institute. And for those of y'all that are family members, hopefully you know what Aya is, right? But if you don't, I'm quite sure he's going to break it down for us. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Indeed. I am co-director of Aya Education Institute, along with my wife, Afia. We've been together for 30 years. We've been in business building together, building for our people together for 30 years. And many of the tools that we're going to be talking about, we put in place and used in our relationship such that we've been able to be business partners and been able to be family building, nation building partners for all of that time. And so what else about me? I'm in love with African people. I've been working for the elevation of our people all my life. My father was self-employed, so was my mother, so I come with that tradition of being able to create and not necessarily having to beg other people to like me. And out of that foundation that they gave me, I've been creating, ever since. I'm a person who believes that we need to challenge oppression. We don't need to condone it. We don't need to take it. At the same time, we challenge it. We need to heal from the wounds of it. And at the same time, we both fight and we heal. We also have to build. And the key part is building trust. So I'm an educator. I'm a father. I'm 62 years old, and I am no ways tired. I'm not tired of black people. I'm not tired of the struggle. I don't think we're going to lose. I know we're going to win. And I have the energy of a 25 years old. I am fired up. Right now is our time. And it's not our time because white people's time is over. No, it's our time because we're going to stop them and remove them from power over us. The ancestors come in after we've done all we can do. Nature comes in after we've done all we can do. We can't sit back and just say it's their time and somebody else is going to take care of it for us. That's not going to happen. And I'm excited about being a part of that. And so that's generally about me. I mean, my background is attitude development and change. My academic background, my focus was African and African American studies and also attitude development and change. That didn't come from the psychology department because they were just majorly measuring, although there were many other departments and disciplines who were focused on attitude development and change. And my biggest educators have been mentor people who I found doing great work, and I find them. When I find them, I say, teach me what you do. So that's who I am, and that's kind of a little bit about me. I'll respond to other questions as we go along.
Yes, sir. Can you tell us a little bit more about what is the Aya Institute of Learning? Aya Educational great. Institute.
Well, Aya Education Institute is both a research institute and also a institute that builds alternative educational applications, programs for adults as well as for middle and high school students. So literally right now going on, there are students who are getting awards for 9 weeks. These are middle school and high school students. Our school, middle school and high school, is a web conference-based school. So we have students in Kentucky. We have students in Cincinnati. We have students in Miami, students in Houston, students in New York. They don't go to a website and just click on it and watch a video. No, they interact live with live teachers and live other peers all the time from just a regular school day, 9 to 3:30. 8:15 to 3:30. And so the difference is our school is an African-centered school, and the goal is to produce students who are high academic achievers and who also are warriors, are prepared to be warriors for our people. And we don't mean that metaphorically. Like many times we use warrior metaphorically, and that's really okay if you're having a tough day, you're having a soldier today, but that's not what we're talking about metaphorically. We're talking about when we say warrior, they're being prepared to challenge people, policies, and practices that oppress our people.
Wow.
They're also being prepared to be healers of our people. To do that, they need to know their woundedness. They need to know their family woundedness. They need to know how we're wounded as a people and how they can promote that, first by modeling their own healing, okay? And secondly, by encouraging others, not by beating up on other folks. Black people have been beat up on enough. We don't need to be beat up on as a motivator for us and thinking that we're healing us because we keeping it real, all right? We can challenge each other in ways that also support each other and keep it real in that way. So they're being prepared academically and socially to be warriors, healers, and builders. The key thing there is, how do you get them to build trust? How do we build trust? First in themselves and then in each other. Now, this is so important because what else is school for if the students are academically prepared, but they don't have the proclivity, the interest, or the skill to build with our people? We don't need those. I don't need anybody who can blow the doors off of an SAT or any other test and get scholarships and go to whatever college, but they don't know how to use their knowledge to build with and for our people. We don't need that. That doesn't help us at all. Okay?
All right.
We don't, you see what I'm saying? So
Yes,
our students, middle school and high school students, I'll give you one example. Our students, in order to graduate, you have to master Amos Wilson's Falsification of African Consciousness.
Whoa.
That's our exit exam.
Wait. Hold on. You telling me that at your school, Amos Wilson is part of the curriculum?
Oh, no question.
Wait, for those people who don't know who Amos Wilson is, Amos Wilson was a PhD brother who passed away in the early 90s. You got to check out
That's
Amos
right.
Wilson on YouTube. Amos Wilson will crack your head. You know what I'm saying? Because he comes with and one of my questions going to lead back to Amos Wilson. But here at Gye-Nyame Journey, my young people, we get them definitions so that we can have a common speak. Because when we say nation building, a lot of people get confused because they really don't understand. But the foundation of a nation, or what a nation is a stable, historically developed community of people with territory, economic life, distinctive culture, and language in common. As a people, we have distinctive culture, possibly, and a language in common. We don't have the economic territory or the economic life or territory. Now, this is the question, because I have hopefully other nation builders listening to you. If not, I'm going to send this out like wildfire. How do you support a institution? Because that's what you have in the name. How do you support an African-centered institution with Amos Wilson in the curriculum? Because I want to know. Can you? No, I mean, because what you got is what we need in every city, right? So how do you work that out?
Okay, this is easy. All right, for us. So when a family wants to enroll in our education institute, because we have students all over the country, then we tell that parent, you register your child as a homeschool student, and in every state you can select who you want as a homeschool student to assist you in educating your child. Typically, as long as they have a high school, some states high school degree. Most times it's a college degree, and that's typically the highest. Whatever. We have 3 PhDs on staff, so we ain't worried about dealing with that. Okay. So now here it is. That means we don't have to go through all of the rigmarole of what's going on. But we give our students transcripts, we give them grades, we give them classes, and we're able to mimic the essence of a traditional curriculum without using the content. What do I mean by that? If you're learning language arts,
right,
you're learning how to write a 5-paragraph essay, right?
Right.
All right. So now that essay can be about your grandfather. It can be about your great-grandfather. It can be about one student just today chose she's going to do an expository essay. her parents, because the way we guide them, her parents were divorced and they got back together. She's going to write an expository essay about how and why they did that. Now, if that's not healing, what is it? Now, it could be about Shakespeare. It could be about, how do you make a web page, and that's okay too. But look at what happens. We want everything that we teach to help the student get closer to their family. All right, and their culture. And so, but are they learning? Not only are they getting closer to their family. Do you think when this student writes this paper and then the instructor gives her feedback on commas, on semicolons, on phrasing, on the introductory or conclusion, do you think she's more likely to remember that instruction because this paper is about her family than she would that if it was about Jacobean drama or some foolishness?
Oh yeah, I mean because she has a relationship with the paper that she's writing, which goes, I think they call it the axiology. Black folks, our highest values in relationships. So if I'm writing about something that relates to me, right, I'm gonna remember a little bit more, right? So here's our rule. So what you just said means that the academic retention is going to be higher. The skill set is going to be higher because they care about it. They have a relationship to it. If we can't create a course that makes you closer to your family, your culture, your people, we won't teach it. I don't care what the subject is. Do you have
if we can't teach them?
This is the question. So how about all of the tests that all these other schools have to go through? You know what I'm saying?
Well, yes, absolutely. All right. If there are laws in every state about what you have to do if you're homeschooling your child, okay? Most times you're exempt from tests, the typical state tests. What you're not exempt from, if you want to go to college, I mean, sometimes you can be exempt from it, but most times, we make sure our children, they start with us when they start in 7th, 8th grade. They start taking preparation for the SAT, the ACT, and the 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. By the time they get to 11th grade, they're taking the thing 4 times. They're no longer scared of it. They're used to it. Because many times what people are measuring is people's fear about the test as opposed to their actual knowledge. And so the students also get feedback from it. All right? So we prepare them for taking the test that matters. Why do I say the test that matters? No college, none, 0 in the country ask you, what did you score on the Ohio State exit exam?
You right.
None.
Right.
They won't say, oh, you in Georgia? What did you score on the Georgia blah, blah, blah? They don't ask that. That's on no application for low college. They want to know what your transcript said, what activities were you in, and how did you score on ACT, SAT, etc., or any CLEP tests. And these are AP courses that we can actually have students take, and you don't have to be in a traditional school. So our students get accepted at whatever college they apply to because we're a portfolio-based school. You see, we're preparing you. We want to make sure that when you apply, you've been listed as a homeschool student, you have our transcript, and when you said our transcript, you also were a portfolio-based school, and anytime anybody calls us, we're able to show them, because we are a web conference-based school, we're able to show them your work.
Because everything is turned in online, and y'all got it, and they got copies of everything.
Well, they got copies of what they need, but when they call, I'll give you an example. Sophia Washington graduated from our school, and she applied at Rutgers, and she applied to Penn State, and she applied to Delaware Valley State, which is a historical black college, and Del Valle. Del Valle is a top 20 horticulture, agricultural school. She applied. I got a call one day from Penn State admission office. They called me asking me about this student. I said, oh, yeah, that would be Sophia Washington. And they said, okay, we have some questions. I said, sure. I said, first, pull out the transcript. I'm sure you have it. She said, yes, I got it right beside me. I said, good. Pick a course, any course that you have in a grade. She did. I said, now, you don't know, looking at that transcript, whether that child broke in the computer, changed the grade, whether the teacher graded on a curve, you really have no idea about the quality and or whether that's there. I said, but now we're a portfolio-based school. I'm going to give you a link and a temporary password. Go right in there, put her name, Southfield, Washington, in this search engine, our internal search engine, all her pages. I said, now that's her work. She's been with us since the 8th grade. That's her beginning work, her middle work, and her final work. Put in that course. Boom. I said, now you can see her work. So you can judge for yourself whether or not that A or B is quality. Okay, now put in another one. She said, sir, I'm really satisfied. Thank you very much. I'm moving this right on to the next level. She got accepted at Penn State. She got accepted at Rutgers. She got accepted at Del Valle and Delaware Valley State and was offered handsome packages. Why? Because we not only had a transcript, but we're a portfolio-based school, and because we're electronic, we can share, not just cherry-pick one or two things. We can share the key things, and people like that. And so she chose to go to Del Valle, and this is a few years ago, and when CNN was doing that Soledad, one of the people was doing Black in America, and went to that college, they asked, for some of the black students they could speak to. Now, she's a freshman coming out of our school, and they choose her to speak on Black in America, CNN. I'm just telling you the kind of preparation. See, I would not, so that's how we do it. Now, if a particular state says you have to pass a particular test if you homeschool, then we prepare the students to do that. Now, let's go back to the example of the essay that I talked about, where the student was writing the essay about her parents getting divorced and then coming back together. If that's she's academically prepared, she can write about anything because she knows how to write, because she paid attention to it. Okay, so I don't have to have them write. We have a project called the Family Lure Project.
That was on my list to ask you about too. But go ahead.
The students have to every 2 weeks. And we're going to present this in Columbus on Saturday from 10 to 12. We focus on African-centered education. Now there are 5 different events we're going to talk about because we have so much. We've been here for a long time doing dynamic work. I don't just mean theory. I mean doing programs and projects. Okay, so that we have more than theory to offer. But on Saturday from 10 to 12 is when we're going to talk about African-centered education, and we're going to give particular examples like this one. I'll give you the details of it, but we'll be able to ask questions, and those people who are doing after-school programs, Saturday programs, rites of passage programs, they can implement this. The Family Lore Project means every family has a lore, as in folklore. Every family has the stories, they have the writings, they have the proverbs, they have the sayings, they have the songs. It is what makes a family a family. The difference is, most times, our lore is not welcomed in the classroom. When the last time you've been to a middle school or high school class and they started in the curriculum in the language arts class was proverbs, sayings, poems, writings from your family? Never. So we ask the students to put together every 2 weeks. They have to add to their collection, their family lore collection. We call it a stash. 2 times a month, the instructor, that language arts instructor, directs them to go to their family lore collection, pick out a piece, and write either a reflective essay or an analysis. So let's say it's a poem, because one student, his name is Nadir, he's graduating from us this year, he asked his grandmother, and his grandmother went to her Bible, unfolded this piece of paper that was stuck down in a place in a Bible, and when she unfolded it, it was a poem. It was a poem that his grandfather, who was deceased, her husband, had written to her before his parents were born. Now, typically, he would never have seen this poem. It would have gone with the Bible when she died, and he would have never seen it.
Right.
He comes to school beaming, reading this love poem that his grandfather wrote. So now he chooses this for one to analyze, let's say, for example. If he chooses this one, now he has to analyze poetry. Well, now then you have to look at, okay, in order to analyze poetry, what are you looking for? You're looking for rhythm, you're looking for rhyme, you're looking for imagery, differently than if you're analyzing prose. Well, when this student learns to analyze poetry by analyzing his granddaddy's poetry, he can apply that to analyzing a Shakespearean poem, one by Keats, Byron, and Shelley, or any of those, blah, 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 blah. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So my point is, I'm not teaching them Shakespeare. I don't care no Shakespeare. I'll teach them about him. Okay, there's a person named Shakespeare, blah, 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 blah. They can research and find Shakespeare whenever they need to. The skills, however, they learn by using their own family literature, oral and written literature. Now, this is African-centered teaching, because what Amos Wilson taught me a long time ago is that African-centered education, whether that's a parent supplementing the public school education, whether it's a homeschool person full-time, whether it's a rites of passage program, whether it's an after-school program, whether you're just riding in your car and you want to teach your children something, an African-centered education must heal alienation. Because the regular school curriculum, and I just mean public, charter, and private, have many objectives, but one of them, negative to us, is to alienate us from our culture, is to alienate us from our people, from our own families. So the higher I go at a subject, the further I move from my people. For example, if I excel in mathematics, and it's great that I excel, it's good that I get awards, but the more I excel, the further I get from my culture. How come is that? So if I excel and I'm awarded, then I don't know how to use this in service of my people.
Because you've been
separated from them. I got to get a job. Pardon me?
Because you've been separated from them. You've been...
Exactly. I've been separated from them. There you go. And even when I try, I make a mess. I bring some white supremacist stuff that I don't even know I'm bringing. Now, I bring it like, okay, I'm going to go down to the area and I'm going to teach math, but I'm bringing white culture with it, which is alienating.
Now, I want to go... Go ahead.
Now, let's take that with language arts. We got many people who've gone to school that can write better. Why don't we have a greater battery of people challenging oppression by their writings? I'm talking about letters to the editor. I'm talking about exposés. I'm talking about whatever. Because we learn to write, and we're alienated from our people in the process, and so that our skills are there to serve aliens. And this is straight from Amos Wilson. I'll say it because it's important for people to get, because an African-centered education has to heal that. And what he says is we are alienated to serve aliens. I'll repeat that. The process of education is an alienating process so that we will serve aliens. It is a form, while it's education, it's a form of social hypnosis.
That's what it
is. And it's not much different than when you saw in the movie Get Out, where the goal was to use our bodies to serve aliens.
But really, it's the same thing. It's the same thing with the Matrix. Because we're going to get into the storytelling in a minute, but all these stories share a similar thing. Somebody trying to use your body, somebody trying to use a piece of you to serve them. Now, one last question. How, for a child to go to your school, is there tuition? How do you support the institution, the Institute financially?
Good. I'm glad you asked. It's a tuition-based school, and here's how we support it. And ask people to support the students, and then export when I'm coming there, so that the teachers and the directors and co-directors have not just ideas, but they can transfer this knowledge. So we have a laboratory where we can play with, experiment. We can try things. We're not having to satisfy somebody and try to convince somebody who don't have our best interest. How do we refine this family little project? I don't have to have somebody's permission to teach Amos Wilson falsification of African consciousness. My job is just to figure out how to teach it in a way that a high school student can grasp it. And so we fundraise for that, and also parents pay tuition for our school. Okay, and we work with people as much as we can. Our tuition hasn't been raised in 7, 8 years. Okay, mainly because we know who our people are, and we're here to serve. And many people contribute. Many people donate, and others raise the money so that they can have their children attend. Now, we don't get government money. We don't get government money because I ain't asking nobody about whether I should teach Amos Wilson to my high school students.
And
I don't know.
And being a nation builder, I mean, you can't.
Hello.
It don't make no sense to ask the enemy to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got to get out of the mind state of asking the enemy to give us money to beat them. That don't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? Dr. Kelsey here taught us a long time. Said, dude, they only gonna give you enough money to fail. That's it. So if we gonna get free, we got to get it ourselves.
And part of what's important, you're absolutely right, is that we figure out. Now here's where I think I told you early on that my father and my mother were self-employed.
Right.
No school, no private school that I know of in the country, regardless of how much tuition, exists by tuition alone. That's what people don't understand. Okay, so Mama Phil, the co-director, is also income tax preparer. Okay, we have businesses that we use to funnel money into the school, and we understand that. Okay, and we understood that going in. Okay, and so there are people who would choose her tax service because they know they get good tax service, and they also know that goes to support the school.
Now, I don't know if you, I don't know if you heard me when I did my little commercial for that ambrosia. I make a drink. I'm telling people this is a nation building tool. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't understand. I mean, we be looking for big come ups, but we gonna get free one step at a time, one small step at a time. It starts one small step. And as we start moving and building momentum, we'll be able to make those giant leaps. But a lot of us, we're looking for the automatic come up, and it don't come like that. But I wanna move it on to something I heard you say on the video. You said that the story precedes the revolution.
Yes, I did.
Can you? Because listen, I like I was telling you when I spoke to you earlier, I said. One of my shows is called Folk Tales for Grown Folks, right? Because I honestly believe that we overlook the power of stories and not even realizing that we are surrounded by stories. All the brands that we buy, they have a story. All the religions that we practice, they have a story. All the movies we go to, that's nothing but story. All the cartoons we watch, that's nothing but stories. All of the, even the Atlanta Housewives and all that madness, they go by a script, which is a story. So I don't really believe that our people really understand the power of stories. Can you please break down what do you mean that the story...
It's our heads. The stories that we tell ourselves, literally our very bodies. Okay? Mm-hmm. The story of success or defeat. Okay? If I tell myself that you are too big of an enemy, you are too powerful, that's the story I tell myself. I'm not going to win. If I tell myself that I am ultimately deficient, and you are greater, I can't win. There's no way. If I'm going to change, then I have to change the stories I tell myself. If you study South Africans in the Kalahari Desert, and they're tracking a prey, they may be tracking them for miles. They never call the name of the animal that they're tracking.
Why so?
They refuse to give the animal. They refuse to give the animal the power. Okay? Okay? Now, let me give you another example in terms of how we shape storytelling and how our storytelling has been shaped to mess us up, okay? When I ask my students to tell me about Black Wall Street and what they know, the first thing they said, oh, isn't that when we were massacred, where white people massacred us? I said, in this class, you cannot call that a massacre or a race riot. And they're like, well, but that's what's on the internet. I said, yes, I understand. Every story is not for every ear. Those folks who are writing that, black folks who are writing it, trying to get reparations that they deserve, so it's a massacre. You can't call it a massacre in this class. I said, what would an avowed white racist who is bragging to another avowed white racist about what they did to us in Tulsa, what would he call it? And they said, massacre. I said, why are you going to call it the same thing? I said, let me tell you what it was. An invasion and a battle. They said, what? You know about the invasion, but you don't know the battle, do you? And they said, no. So I told them the story of our battle, of our valiant battle, okay? They're like, what? What? And I said, you have to write this story in ways that you do not lie about the fact that we lost the battle over those 2 days. We lost that battle. At the same rate about that loss in such a way that the people who are reading your story will be inspired to continue the war, even though we lost the battle, and continue to rebuild what we built.
Got a prime
they
example.
Asked the question. They said, Bob.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They
prime
said,
example.
Bob, how do you write a story about a loss that's inspiring? I said, that's why you come to IA Education Institute.
Wait, I got a prime example.
And
I got a prime example on how to do that. Remember the Alamo. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They didn't frame that the way the Native Americans would have framed it. They framed it as, remember the Alamo. And as a matter of fact, they got more recruits because of the story. You know what I'm saying? So how you frame it, and I wanted to go to, when you was talking about the South African hunting, they won't call the animal's name. In my school, as well, I've been working with young people for a long time, and when young people get mad at each other, and they're about to go into conflict, you'll hear them go into a different type of speech where they won't call the other person's name until after the battle is over. I don't know if you ever noticed that with even adults. That thing. You know what I'm saying? They basically won't give that other individual the power. But when it comes to us talking about, I don't even like calling it, let's call it a white inferiority. You know what I'm saying? That because I don't even like using that term. But the point is, when they framing their things, they're framing themselves in a way to where either it was a valiant effort or they totally won. And we haven't learned to start telling our stories like that. And I'm with you 100% on that right there. But I'm sorry, but go ahead, Baba.
We're going to show. Hold on just a second. Okay, I'm sorry. So one of the things we're going to show on Saturday. Next week we will probably show this on Saturday. Okay, we will probably show a short video clip and talk about how that's done. And we outline 10 different steps. We show a 3-minute and 44-second video about folks getting a butt beat. But at the end of that, just 3 minutes and 44 seconds, you're identifying with the people who got their butt beat. And I'm saying, students, if you're writing our story, any oppressed people are going to suffer defeats. Okay? As you fight to gain power and gain strength, you're going to suffer defeat. Knowing how to write that story in ways that your loss inspires continued action, continued valiant action, the next time and the next time, building, learning, healing is critical if we're going to win.
Right.
If you learn the story and tell it from the enemy's perspective, as you're talking about, then in fact you will always lose.
You always lose. And always.
But check this out. Check this out. There's a parallel that we're doing when we do that. On the one hand, you're talking about how do you do this for history in a historical place, but also on a personal level, if you're on oppressed people, on a family level, there are going to be losses. I'm going to be stopped by police. I'm going to be all kinds of losses. What happens is we don't know how to tell our story from the inside out, whether it's our personal story about a relationship loss or whether it's our ancestral story or historical story about the battle like we have in Black Wall Street. So at the same time, you remember I said warrior, healer, builder? Mm-hmm. We're learning how do you tell this story in ways that heals and inspires us to continue to grow. And at the same time, we're learning to know how to tell our own story, our own personal story and personal family stories in the same way. Yeah. Now, brother, we're talking about doing some work here.
Oh, yes, sir.
We've been doing this for a long time. We're not. And let me just tell you, I tell people, an African-centered school and effort is not a white school painted black. White curriculum with black people thrown in to sprinkle it about. Okay? An
yes,
African-centered curriculum has the objective of having our people preparing to succeed in the environment that they're in. So we want people to have the skills so you can get a job, you can do what you do, create your own job, all that, and the skill to move our people forward. Okay? And we're not just talking about getting people to like us. We're talking about moving our people forward in spite of oppression. And so that's what an African, and I'm not talking about just some school that's separate over there. And, you know, what I'm talking about, every time we are educating our children and we're trying to have them become better students, it has to have the objective, this student knowing how to live, not get our people liked by the people who profit from our misery. Keep no ass me, we rolling.
All right, so now you, because basically you identified how to use a story as a weapon, because that's what's been beating us up all this time. Not only other people's storytelling, but our own storytelling. And so I imagine that in some form or fashion in your curriculum, you teach the children how to rewrite their own story.
Absolutely. They learn their own family stories, okay, and their own personal stories, as well as our people's stories. They learn to write it out. And there are specific steps to how we tell our story from the inside out, because we're induced to tell our story even though it's about us, from other people. It was a massacre. We were shot because we were black. Like, wait a minute. What? The blackness is not the problem. Our students can't say that. They literally can't. If I'll interrupt them if they say, this person didn't get the job, this person got fired, this person is black. I said, come on. So you're putting the problem on the blackness. Our blackness is not a problem. What's the problem? They said they're racism. Now you're talking. Okay? You see, we can't, in our school, we don't use the word slavery, enslave, none of that. They have to say African in captivity. African in bondage. Because
after for years I thought, you know what I'm saying, because I've been saying captive, and people don't understand why I don't want to use even with the other word, the white, you know what I'm saying, that the inferiority, the opposite of that. That's what people want, and I don't understand how people don't understand that when we use terms like slavery and supremacy and stuff. I don't see how people don't understand what type of box that paints us in, but I guess it's because they've been ignoring the art of telling stories. You know what I'm saying? Because you learn to use the word.
Yeah.
Now, I have a question for you. How do you implement mathematics within the context of the education piece?
Glad you asked. our math program is called Sankofa Math.
Uh-oh.
Okay? That's the name of the program, Sankofa Math. All right. And of course, Sankofa is to go back to fetch it.
Right.
So we start them understanding our invention of mathematics. Okay. That is, see, civilization starts for us at our school at 200,000 BCE with the first anatomically modern human being, a brother that our students named Brother Akim from Herto, Ethiopia. We then move forward to us peopling the earth, all right? And then we talk about and learn about how we created the calendars, and not just how we created, how we calculated. How do you do multiplication without multiplication tables the way we did in ancient Kemet and then also in Ethiopia? Most folks don't know how you do multiplication or division the way we did in ancient Kemet. We showed them how it's done. So we don't just say, we were kings and queens. Yes, we were. But guess what? You got to know what we knew.
Right.
You can't just, it's one thing to be inspired. That's cool. You know, if I say, my dad was a carpenter and he built these houses and a builder, and I'm proud of it. But how much more better is it, not only did I know he was a builder, but he taught me the skills of how you build houses.
Right.
Okay? So both of them are inspirational. One is inspirational and instructive. And so we want them to know, how do you do this? Okay? And then, as we're teaching them the various skills of mathematics, starting with, of course, understanding ours, we then move forward and we teach them when they go through, and there's racism in it, for example, we said, no, we can't call this the Pythagorean theorem. Pythagorean had to come and study for 16 years. You know, this is what we call it. We're not going to call this Eber's papyrus. We're going to call it, and so we continue to both interrupt the way they stole our stuff. So we're teaching students how to do that on their own because they're learning that over time. And then we start talking about how do you apply the mathematics that you're learning to your family, to our situation, so that as they're learning math, they're learning to apply that to our own situation. And that's how we teach it. And the part of we have a combination piece, and actually Sankofa Math and Family Little Project are the two pieces that I'm going to talk more about. We have students who are both able to go back and fetch what they missed in terms of foundational math. At the same time, like I said, a Tuesday, Thursday class. On Tuesday, it's a laboratory where they have been going back based on their own pace and coming forward with the math that they need to master. And what I mean by this is, let's say you're in 7th grade and you basically got by with a C or a B. Let's say 80. Now that means 20% of the knowledge that you need to have, you didn't get.
Right.
Now you're going to need that for the 9th grade, but you didn't get it. But then we take you on to the 9th grade because you got 80%. But when are we going to go back and get to 20%? Guess what? You're now not going to be able to do 30 to 40% of the 9th grade work. Okay?
Right.
You see, and it just continues. You wouldn't do that if you were going to be doing karate. You can't go from a white belt to a yellow belt to whatever other belts unless you master all of the skills at this level.
Right.
You can't go, well, you got 80%. And you go, no. So we focus on mastery. Why? Because that's what our ancestors did. All right? And so one class is you're going back to fetch anything you didn't get to achieve mastery at fractions, mastery at the foundation, and then you move on through. But while on one day you're dealing with strengthening the foundational math, on the other day you're being introduced to higher order math concepts like infinity sets. Check that out. Because for Africans, what we love is most higher order math is philosophy. Most higher order math is imaginary. Most higher order math is pure logic. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so what happens is our students don't get to that level of math because we're taught in ways such that it stumps us at the basic level, and you don't get to the higher order where you are dealing with, what's a transcendental number? You know? What is it? What's a transcendental number? Like pi is a transcendental number. What does that mean? That means normally there's 1, and then you go so many units, and you're 2, and so many units, you're 3, and so many units, you're 4. But if you go to pi, you never get to 4. So that means you have infinity between 3 and 4.
Right.
Imagine that. And you just have transcended your set. Now let me tell you.
And now
black students love that kind of thinking.
As a matter of fact, that type of information right there helps kids fall in love with math. But it takes them so long to get to that.
That's what I'm talking about.
I don't even think our kids really understand what fractions are. You know what I'm saying? And because we really don't really talk to them about them. You know what I'm saying? It's like the whole education piece, man. It's like there's no relationship. You know what I'm saying? People, because you hear popular words like rigor and stuff like that, and rigor in the classroom. But if there's no relevance, there's no rigor. You can't get rigor from a student who can't find the relevance in what he's learning. There's no connection to me, so I really don't give a damn.
That's right. And that's known, and that's by design, brother.
Oh, yeah, we are.
The educational system is a bullet, okay? We can't act like it's neutral, all right? And so this is why we don't ask people to teach us how to teach our children, okay?
All right.
The results every 9 weeks, the students are invited in. Okay. Next time I'll let you know so you can let your folks know so they can come from wherever they are into a conference room and hear the students make presentations about their work. I can give you. I'll make sure I'll give you a link to where you can examine and your listeners some of the student work. And what I'm saying about that, it's not their cherry picked work. Every 9 weeks, they open up the doors, and we say, this is what you tell people that you are learning. I don't care what level it is. If this is what you're learning, you tell them that so that you can get kudos and guidance. Here's why that's critical for us. And literally, nothing that they see will have a grade on it. But they will see the work, and they ask people to give them both kudos and guidance where they need guidance. Why? Because we want to teach the children that they are accountable to the community. They are learning to serve the community, not to satisfy the teacher alone, not to satisfy the principal. You're learning to serve the community, and in turn, you get the support of the community. That's how you end that. You see? We wonder why children graduate and whatever, they don't come back. Well, you already set it up, so you're so proud that they made an A. That's cool. It's better than an F. You got an award. That's great. But what did they learn? Were you involved in the curriculum? Were they learning how to use the chemistry to serve you? My brother, one of the classes we teach is our introductory class for introductory chemistry and biology. It's called Black Body Biochemistry. That's the name of the class.
Say that again.
Because we think the best way to
say that again.
Black Body Biochem.
That's one of the classes.
That's one of the classes. That's the class that's your introductory biology and chemistry class. And from that, then you go on to other advanced biology and other advanced chemistry. But we started with your black body. Because there are many chemicals in your body. We'll just talk about one right now. It's melanin. But we don't study. We don't know melanin. Even to those who know the words, if you're going to study chemistry, how about the chemistry of your body? What does this chemistry? What's the makeup of this chemical called melanin, and how does it function?
That makes too much sense.
Well, you see, here's that alienation again. I'm gonna teach you chemistry, and we're gonna start with test tubes.
There you go. We're gonna take it away from you. I don't got a relationship. I don't got a relationship.
There you go. It's alienation, and like you said, with relationship, the baddest chemistry lab on the planet is your own body.
Right. The
liver is so tremendous. The liver will change one molecule to a whole other molecule. Okay? The liver is bad. Okay? But we don't know chemistry and the chemistry of our body. So guess what? They can feed us anything.
So, well, I got one more question because I try to keep these down to an hour. Because we almost there. All right. So, because I'm a dean of students at the school where you come. And for those that don't know, he will be in Columbus on April 7th and 8th at the Millennium Community School. He gonna come now. We're running out of space, so y'all need to get in touch with the Untitled Family Village so that you can get your tickets. But how is discipline at your school? Is there any discipline issues? And I already kind of know the answer because I'm the dean of students at my school. So,
discipline issues. Yes, there are, but they're not discipline issues like we're used to because the students are engaged, okay, and challenged. All right, and we like, yo, what you think your parents are scraping and paying their money for? Okay, like, yo, this ain't you running against some system here. Your job is to learn while they are working there. Your job is to learn that, and we put it on them in the sense of what they're coming for. At the same time, because they know that they have the community that they have to respond to. So if they come, they're not used to it at first. And so we have students right now, this is their first 9-week presentation, and when they come in and see how many people from the community come in and listen and value what other students have done, then they kind of like, they take their learning a little bit more seriously because they're not just learning for a grade for the teacher. Every 9 weeks, brother, instead of handing out just past report cards and awards, we say, no, we're going to show the community. You got to show the community what you do. And if you've been jiving around, that's the feedback you get. Okay? If you've been whatever, and you man having an audience in there and having the people learn what these students are learning. So but every student you have someone, now another thing that reduces our discipline issue is because we don't just teach the students, we also teach the parents. Our parents have to be engaged in our school. Have to be. Because just because I'm a parent, did I know that we don't say the word slavery and definitely don't call white people masters? In my education, that's what it was called. So we can't be teaching the kid that and then having them go home and the parent like, what's all that stuff you learned? Okay, and we know that we're not beating up on the parents. We're saying, hey, you didn't get this. I didn't get it when I was your age. Come on. So we have 2 parent meetings a month. One is nuts and bolts. That's fundraising. That's, tuition. That's grades. That's whatever. The other one comes from what we call our Healing Oppressions Wounds work. And this is work that we're going to present on Saturday afternoon on a 4-hour block called The Taste of WHB. These are key skill sets in order to interrupt the poison communication that folks have put in us. And they are the foundation of all of our education. No matter what the subject, it has to adhere to that. So we keep teaching the parents that so that they learn what the students are learning and how we're applying it and how to support us. So there's not that sense of, okay, the school is this and I'm that. No. And we'll tell everybody, we're not a match for everyone. Okay? We're not a match for everyone. That's all there is to it. I don't know any school that's a match for everyone. We look for a match. The parents and the community have to be involved, and the students has to be involved. And it really reduces the sense of problems because the school becomes an extension of the family.
Right.
And it has that support. And we're willing to work that out, and we're happy to work that out. I do not support us beating up on parents. I'm sorry. I don't mean not confronting, but you can confront. If white supremacy comes out of my child's mouth, let's say my 3-year-old says he or she want to be white or want to have blonde hair or something like that, I don't slap him like they're the enemy. I don't beat them down, right? I confront that. I said, no, I hear that, but I confront it as a healer. Why can't we confront our parents and our behavior that is not good behavior coming from oppression? Why can't we confront it in ways to invite healing, change, as opposed to condemnation? We don't do that, okay? When you do that, you get more buy-in from parents, okay? They all have to attend a 3-day retreat sometime during the year in order for them to come back the next year.
Wow.
It's called Warriors, Healers, and Builders. because it won't work. We're not. It's a European model to take the child away from the parent.
Right.
Forget the parent. They ain't no good. They're old. They ain't care. Blah, 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 blah. Let's just educate the child. Are you kidding me?
I mean, well, it worked for the Spartans.
They got their butt kicked, didn't they?
Yeah.
The Persians beat them like they stole something.
But that's a whole nother piece about the storytelling that you've been talking about, because in that movie as well as in their history, they don't look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? It was
they don't look at it.
It was an opportunity to get into another fight.
They don't look at it like that. That's fine. That's their objective. That's
right.
Their center. From our center, what they had, they couldn't sustain.
Right.
The men raised boys so that they could subjugate them sexually and other things, okay, and
right.
be beholding to them, okay. The women were only breeders, and girl children were killed. That's not a model for us.
I know.
You know, it's not a model for us. So I don't say it worked for them. I say it's what led to their demise. Okay? And so to me, it's important that our children, so the education, when parents, if I were working I just told people at public school meeting yesterday, because see, the work that we do is designed to have for us to be a research school and a place that's a cocoon where we can try things. And so just yesterday, people from public school asked me to do 3-4 Black history classes for this, new reformed Black student union at one of the high schools. And when I got finished describing just the 4 steps of it, the adult said, "Can I come to your class?" I said, "Sure you can. Be glad to." And so what they heard was something like that they didn't hear before. They haven't heard of our history told from that way, from somebody who knows how to tell it from the inside out, who is not trying to tell the history so as to prove our smarts, our goodness, or anything to white folks. Okay, and so my brother, it's a labor of love. On the 7th and 8th week, on Friday night, we're gonna get into Harriet Tubman, the warrior healer builder story. So you'll just learn, how do you tell a story from the inside out? How do you tell Harriet Tubman's story as a warrior, as a builder, as a healer? Because what they are doing is telling the story as of Harriet Tubman as a woman of faith and family, as a suffragette, as an American hero. And so they are trying to neuter her. And if they do, then she won't be the inspiration that she needs to be, that we need her to be for our children. So we have to know how to tell her story from the inside out, okay? And so people will not just, I don't just preach about that. I'm going to tell the story. Along the way, I'm going to show how the story told in that way counters 4 major negative scripts, racist scripts, that have been socially instilled. It's like that social hypnotism that I'm talking about, okay? And I don't just preach about it. I demonstrate it right in the audience, that it is present in the room and how we can counter it right there in the room. But see, I'm not just theory. I'm a brother that's like, if it's good, it's worth application. If I can't figure out how to apply it, then I ain't got much time for it. That's what we have our school for, where we can say, how does this work, and whatever, and what can we do about it. So on Friday, we're going to do that. We're also going to make the connection between that story and how you tell it from the inside out and the movie Get Out, okay? Because the whole notion of the central part of that movie is control of black bodies. And the first 2 levels, the 3 levels of the sunken place, and the first 2 levels are hypnosis. And what we're talking about is stories breaking the spell of stories that are told from the outside in, that form a level of social hypnosis that direct our behavior even when we don't know it. And it's not mumbo jumbo. I give you straight up examples that everybody in the room will affirm, like, oh, yeah, that's right. Wow, not just that's them over there. That's me right there. Thank you very much. And so people are eager to change those. That's Friday night. Saturday, for people who want to become certified as storytellers who know how to tell our stories from the inside out, we talk about that at 9 o'clock in the morning. For an hour, we explain the process. There are classes that are online that we offer. We explain people how to plug into those so they can be certified on how to tell our stories from the inside out. And then at 10, 12, we go into African-centered education, most of what we've been talking about tonight. And then from 1 to 5, we go to, this is the fourth event now, 1 to 5, we give those tools for how do we deal with conflict resolution and communication. That's the foundation of us being able to build together, whether we're building organizations, businesses, schools, marriages. We have to know how do we do that, accounting for the poison that's been put in the way. And that's we call that the Blacknificent, a skill set called the Blacknificent 7. There's 3 skills and 4 steps. That's from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, for 4 hours. And then in the evening, we get to talk about black male-female relationships. And how to use this whole tool set to apply to that. There are 5 events. There are 2 days. And are you allowed to say how cheap the tickets are?
Yeah,
on this program?
You say $20 a piece, man.
$20.
I mean, hey, man, hey. 2 days. I mean, because you just ran down. Because like I said, we ain't even getting to the other stuff. We went through the education piece. So the brother is coming to Columbus, Ohio, and he's going to bring the heat. Y'all heard of him. Anybody that could get Brother Hatim to be quiet is bringing the heat. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you brought it. You know what I'm saying? And I want to thank you for joining the show. I want to I'm looking forward to the workshop. It will be at 3500 Refugee Road, also known as the Millennium Community School, April 7th and 8th, Friday night. If you're planning to go out, you don't need to go out. You need to be in and come and learn this storytelling skill. Learn how to tell the story from the inside out. Come learn about the Afrocentric education model. Come learn about the how to be a warrior. What is it? Warrior, healer, builder.
And builder.
Right? We've been talking nation building in Columbus for a long time. This brother coming from a place where they got an institution that is supported totally by the community, and we need to learn. So hey, I'm inviting everybody out. The ticket's only $20, but hey, space is running low. Space is running low. So y'all need to I want to see your face in the place. This is Brother Hatim. I want to thank Brother Wakesa.
Right, that's it.
I got it. Okay. Brother Wakesa, I want to thank him for joining me tonight. I want to thank all those that are listening. I want to thank those that stopped in on Facebook. I know y'all's confused because, listen, when they see me quiet, man, they the world look like the world coming to an end because I'm usually hyped like you know what I'm saying? But actually I was hyped listening because you're giving good information and you giving me, it's even beyond hope. You know what I'm saying? Because it is not like the hope wasn't there, but it's so good to know that there's other nation builders in other places. People actually building up, and on top of that, have a true understanding of the power of the story. I mean, when I saw your video, you do not know how happy I was when the first one I clicked on was the revolution is preceded by the story. I said, I can't wait to talk with this brother. I'm looking forward to talking to you again. I'm definitely gonna see you when you're in town. If you get there early enough, I wanna introduce you to some of the people at my school because maybe we might be able to bring you back. I don't know. Can't make no promises. You know what I'm saying? But hey, because you got some good stuff. We're gonna work together. So we're gonna work together. We'll figure out how to make it happen. Yes, sir. So this is Brother Hatim. I want to thank everybody for joining the journey. I want to thank you, brother. And with that, we say peace. Peace.
Mr. Diddy.